Welcome to the Rise to Shine podcast with Noelle Custis, where we ignite the spark to discover your favorite self. It is time to get real, ladies. Hello, and welcome back to the Rise to Shine podcast. I'm your host, Noelle Custis. And oh my goodness, you guys, I am so excited for today's guest. Like genuinely excited. I was just talking with her right before we pressed play, and I have to just tell you, she is so fun, so real, and the work that she does absolutely fascinates me. And we've been talking a little bit about it over here on our podcast, but I am so excited to just really dive into it. She is a spiritual hypnotherapist, and she's also the founder of the Align Your Mind app and co-host of the High Vibin It Podcast, which has become, I was just telling her, I am like the fangirl that's geeking out on this podcast right now. But anyway, she guides women into soul alignment through the power of the subconscious mind, helping them release blocks, awaken their intuition, and manifest their highest timelines with flow and ease. So please welcome Lynnsey Robinson. Lynnsey, welcome.
What a wonderful welcome. Thank you so much for having me. Mutual feelings, by the way. We're best friends already. And I'm so excited to dive into whatever we're going to talk about today. I know it's going to be just great.
Yes, no, super excited. And like I said, I just feel like I have become a fangirl. I think part of it is because my journey has been shifting quite a bit in the last couple of years, most recently, probably in the last few months. So I am just really looking forward to this conversation, and I can't wait for our audience to just hear from you and just have an insight from a different lens. I always feel like that is so much more fun. So I would love to just really start with the basics, because I know that some women listening may be brand new to this. We always have new girlies around, and we have women that are just starting to like dip their toes into it. So can you tell us a little bit about what is spiritual hypnotherapy and what does it actually look like in practice?
Yes. Okay. So as you mentioned, we were talking a little bit before we hit record, and it's funny because I mentioned to you I had just gone to the dentist earlier today, and this is important, I promise, because this is the first time in a very long time. I'm used to talking to people who are curious and excited about it. This is the first time in a long time where somebody asked what I did and I told them, and they got like a little nervous. They're like, I don't know if I believe in that. And so that it was a perfect moment for me to be like, well, you kind of do it all day, every day. That's the good news. And that's the first place I want to start with people who are new to this or curious about hypnotherapy. You do it all the time. You do it every day. You do it multiple times a day. You're already an expert. You already have this superpower at your disposal where you're able to kind of put your mind in a state where it is receptive and listening to what you want to teach it, sometimes for good, sometimes for not so good. It's learning in those receptive states. And so like when you're driving home and you forget, when you're reading a book and everything falls away around you and you are in the book or you're in the movie, or just those little moments in the day where you're here but you're not here, and you kind of snap out of it and you're like, wait, what just happened? Like that's the power that we have to go into that automatic state. And the other thing that's important about this is everything that you don't have to think about, your emotions, your habits, your knee-jerk reactions, the ability to speak, the ability to drive or to ride a bike, those are all automatic, and therefore they live in that part of you that is automatic, which is subconscious. So if you were able to go to that space and teach your subconscious what was not only true for you, but was safe for you, was the natural next step for you and your progress and your goals and your dreams and your life and your reality, would you not want to do that? And by the way, it feels really good to go to that relaxed state. Okay. If you've ever had like a deep tissue massage where it kind of takes you somewhere else, that's kind of what it feels like, but for your mind. So the most important thing that I want people to really know, if you don't know anything about it, is you do it all the time. You already know how to. I just help you do it on purpose so you can actually take, harness the control and take charge of where your life's going. And the spiritual aspect comes in when, first of all, that's my favorite thing to do. And spiritual hypnotherapy is taking you to that space in your mind and meeting your spirit guides, going to a past life, meeting your higher wisdom. Oh my goodness, your future self. stepping into that reality that you know is in the future and kind of embodying it now. Because I don't know if you know this, I'm sure you do, you attract what you align with. And so if with hypnotherapy, I'm able to help you align with it faster so that you find reality bending around your goals. It's so cool.
There's
I could
just
talk for
so many
days.
things that my wheels are already spinning because I'm going, oh, this is so good. And, you know, last night, actually, as a matter of fact, I just did, and this was my second time doing it, but it was a floating sound bath.
Oh
And
my gosh,
talk about,
yes.
oh, it's just magical.
Is that not
And
an altered state? Real quick. That is another
exactly.
form of altered. Exactly.
And
Okay.
that's what I was going to say is like being able to put it into perspective that it doesn't have to be this like scary woo thing that, and I love that you mentioned that because I do feel like even when, you know, maybe a couple of years ago, I would have been that person that
Yes.
would have been sitting there going, I don't know about all that, you know. But once I started really learning about it, understanding it from a different perspective, wow, things have
Yeah.
changed so much. And that's what I'm excited that you're here to be able to put it into real life vocabulary,
Hmm.
that it doesn't have to be this scary thing. Before we move on, because we're going to definitely dive into this subconscious mind, there's so many things I want to talk about there, but I am so curious because this is something that always fascinates me, is what drew you to this work? Was there a moment? Was there an experience? What was that for you?
I always laugh because I just, people say like, what was the moment you knew you wanted to do this? And it's one of those things, I'm sure other guests can relate to this or even listeners, where it's like, I had this bone in my body always. I just didn't know what to call it. I didn't know what to
Okay.
name it. I was a weird kid. Okay. I was a weirdo and I love that now. And I think that some of the best people I've ever met were weirdos, like, and still
Mhm.
are.
I agree.
They're just, what, we live in a world of possibilities and you want to be normal? Okay, whatever. To each their own, I guess, not me. I was a weirdo. So that's kind of how I like to start this. I was always in the graveyard, like, and what I did as like a 12, 13-year-old kid was I'd be in the graveyard touching the gravestones, like trying to figure out through my fingers how that person died, right? What was I doing? I don't know. I don't know what I was doing, but it was so much fun to play in that metaphysical, spiritual space. As a kid, I translated it to like, oh, I'm going to be a ghost hunter. That's what I'm going to do for my life. And then as I got older, it was like, what if I was a criminologist? What if I was a criminal psychologist? Or,
Mm.
I wanted to be a CSI. I watched CSI Vegas and I was like, that's me forever. Except it's not, because it took me one semester, I think, in college to decide maybe not for me. That's you see one too many pictures of deceased bodies and you're like, that's okay, I'm more of a fairy. I need to be on the light side of things. And so perfect timing, I was around 20 years old and my sister hands me this book and she's like, I was very confused, like, what am I going to do then if I'm not doing this and I don't want to do that and I need to scratch this itch, I need to satisfy this, what is this? uh my mom, I grew up with my mom, she's very religious. God bless her, do what you gotta do. But I grew up with a lot of like, we need to exercise this house of demons. And she'd go through the house with her Bible. And then through events that transpired, trauma, I moved in with my dad when I was like 11 and could not be more opposite. Long hair, hippie
Interesting.
dude,
Okay.
reincarnation all day. Like he'd walk through the house and be like, I'm never coming back. This is my last life. I can't do this anymore. And then I'm like, what are you talking about? And he kind of opened my eyes to like this side, like spirituality side of like humanness, I guess,
Mm.
instead of the religious side. And so I kind of had both views, which only added to my confusion. So when my sister handed me this book, it was called Destiny of Souls by Michael Newton, hypnotherapist. And I was like, what the heck is this? What is a hypnotherapist? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
I read the book. It absolutely changed my life. I mean, obviously, I'm a hypnotherapist, but it took a little bit of a windy road because you read a book and decide you're going to be a hypnotherapist. You're not going to just become a hypnotherapist. There's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of like, well, that can't be for me, whatever. And for me, it looked like this. I read the book, my whole body lit up, my destiny changed. And I knew I had to move to California because that's where his institute was. And that's what I was going to do. And that's what I was going to study. Boom, decision made. Did it make sense? No. Did everybody call me crazy? Absolutely. I was 20 years old. I was barely in college. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm going to go. My boyfriend, can I come with you? Nope. Going by myself. Sorry. Like, it sounds like I woke up one day and made a decision. Of course, there were nights I cried myself to sleep, unsure what I was going to do. This is a scary thing, but I couldn't not do it. And I can't, I wish there was a better way to explain it, but I feel like some people know what I mean. Like the discomfort of staying was more than the scariness of leaving and actually figuring it out. So I took the leap, I moved. I did not go immediately to the institute because I found out really soon that it's expensive to live in California and you had to get a job like right away. So I did kind of put it on the back burner. And while I put it on the back burner, was trying to figure out life, it really drifted into the background to the point where I had gotten married and had a child before I really started to ask myself, what do I want to do with my life? I managed a GameStop for a really long time. I am a geek. Also, like you need to know this about me. I'm obsessed with Lord of the Rings, video games. I love all of it. Okay. I'm just curious about everything. And so, yeah, I was working at a GameStop. I had a baby and then I was like, I don't want to do this. What am I doing? I don't want to do this for my life. I want to hang out with my kid, but got to make money. So what do I want to do with my life? When I grow up, what do I want to be? And I'm 27 years old at this point. 7 years had passed since I decided I wanted to be a hypnotherapist. And that came roaring back like a light bulb. Ding. What about hypnotherapy? Remember that? I'm going through this fast because every moment of this story.
I love it.
Every part of this story is so important. I can't leave anything out. Yeah. So I'm, the feelings returned. What about hypnotherapy? I got excited. My body lit up again. Oh my gosh. Yes, I remember. I want to do that. That sounds amazing. I want to take people to their past lives, their life between life. I want them to know their soul. Amazing. And then of course the voice came in that was like, are you kidding me? You're a mom. You're a mom now. You have to do the responsible thing. That's what I kept hearing. You have to be responsible. You're a mom. And I think it's because growing up, I don't think I had that. And so I made that promise to myself that I was going to do the best thing for my kid. I was going to be responsible. I was going to make sure they had a good life. How dare you take this leap and do the unknown thing when you have a person to take care of and to make sure that they're okay? And so my shoulders slumped, my energy dimmed, and I was like, okay, well, you're right. Well, maybe there's a job opening at a Kroger or something, or Ralph's, right? In LA, it's a Ralph's. But then I heard another voice that was so tiny, and I promise you, this is exactly how I remember it. Whisper voice. It was like, but why can't you? It was like so many years of being trained not to listen to this voice. And so it was so quiet. And it was like, but why can't you? And I was like, you know what? Why can't I? Everyone who's ever done anything cool had to start right here in this fork in the road where it's like, I could either do the boring, responsible thing and the thing that's going to keep me safe, big quotes around safe, and the known thing that I know is going to work, or I can do something that really makes me happy, that makes me giddy, that gives me butterflies. Like, what if that worked out? And even if it didn't, my gosh, could I imagine not trying doing it? How could I do that? So what if I just made a call? So I make a call and then they talk me into doing a tour. It wasn't the Michael Newton Institute, but it was another institute that was down the street from the GameStop that I used to work at. Which, as anyone knows who knows about LA, it is a huge place. It's not a small town. Like, the fact that it was down the street, crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
First interesting moment. And then so I go do the tour. They make it sound really good, like almost impossible to say no to. And they're like, you can get a student loan because we're approved by the Board of Education. So that's all good and fine. And I was like, oh my gosh, really? Like, this is crazy. Call my husband. I'm like, can I do this? And now I want to be clear here. I was not asking permission. He knows that I don't ask permission, but I was kind of asking for an excuse. If he said, babe, we got to be responsible. Come on, we have a kid. Then that would have echoed every fear I had already had, reinforced it, and made me say, okay, you're right. We should, that's a sign we shouldn't do it. But he didn't. He said, do you really want to do this? I said, yeah, I kind of really want to do this. And he goes, then you have to do it. We'll figure it out. Yeah. And I was like, what? So I will never forget how important a support system is when you're making a decision like this. Now, I didn't really have one when I moved to California, but I don't think I needed one because it just depended on me at that point. When it depends on your child, your spouse, when everything is kind of enveloped in, then you kind of look at it differently. And you need the support of the people around you that are affected by this decision. And so I did it. And that's the end, except it's not the end, because here's the big slap in the face sign from the universe that I should be sitting exactly where I'm sitting. And I need to be slapped in the face with signs. So here it is. When I graduated, it's a year-long training course.
Okay.
Minimum amount of hours, 500, that you have to be training, and you have to do your internship and your residency. And so once I graduated with honors, by the way, no one ever asked, so I'm going to say it every time. Graduated with honors. Thank you very much. Very proud of myself. I ended up working at the Institute to help the distance education back in 2013 when distance was like, what? You're doing it on the internet? Yes. So I was helping them out, and I looked up my name in the database because I wanted to see what they said about me as a student. Because now I'm an employee, I can do that. And so I looked at my name, and there were 2 accounts, one for me as a student in 2013, and one for Lynnsey Robinson from Michigan with my old phone number, my old address. Wow. Apparently from 2005. Okay.
Wow.
When I first read this book was 2005. I must have, and I have no recollection of doing this, but I know myself, and I think I did this. I think I got excited when I read the book, did the research on the internet. They called me. I got scared. I didn't answer.
Wow.
And so it took, oh my gosh, it still gives me chills. Cool. I was sitting in the same chair. I was working in the same office, the same department, sitting in the chair of the person that called me in 2005, and I didn't answer. Like, what the heck? Time warp. I think my future self, my soul, my higher wisdom was like, we need to drop this breadcrumb now so that when she sees this, she will have no doubt. And I don't have any doubts. That was wild.
So, I love that. I love that because, so much of what we talk about on this podcast is for women to hear these types of stories, because I feel like so many times as women, we may have a dream, or there may have been a seed that dropped earlier on in life and we forget about it, or we let it go because there's bills to pay. There are things that we have to do. And I'm always like, it's never too late. I was a teacher for 25 years and I ended up leaving that almost 4 years ago. Well, gosh, I think, what is today's date? Right this week, it'll now be 4 years officially.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. And same thing. I had beautiful support. It was my husband doing the same thing, but in a way where he looked at me and he was like, are we going to cry every Sunday, or are you going to do something different?
Right.
Right. And I didn't even know what different meant. I was like, what do you mean? I was so linear that, I've been in the profession for 25 years, but it's funny how you had mentioned that there were things like that were evidence for you to be able to go, oh my goodness, I was able to you tapped into something and it came back full circle. And that's kind of similar to my story as well. There were things in my past that I had thought about, that I had looked into, but then again, always went back to, I've got to do the responsible thing.
Yeah.
I need to do all of these. And now I look and go, oh my gosh, if you have something on your heart, and we'll talk about that too, because I would love to get into intuition, because I do feel like this is something that it is so easy as women for us to blow over that. And once we tap into that, oh my gosh, it is a game changer. So I love that story. And I love that it gives women even just hope to recognize that you have permission. You are allowed to explore. You're allowed to be curious.
And guess what else? Here's my favorite one. You're allowed to change your mind. Okay.
Yes,
at any time. At any time. And I'm one of the, I don't know how I want to say this. I'm one of the people that, like, it takes me sometimes so long to make a decision that once I make it, I'm like, that's it, right? That's it. That's the last decision I ever have to make, right? Right? because the process is so torturous. But
Right.
but I think if we get stuck in that, you may have, listen, there are decisions that work perfectly for you
Yeah.
for the time, but that
Exactly.
doesn't mean that they don't have an expiration date. And I think
Yeah.
that's not to get back so soon to hypnotherapy, but when we have limiting beliefs, it doesn't mean that like it's just there by accident. These things helped you once. They were the solution once.
Yeah.
And they have an expiration date, but your mind doesn't know that. It's just going to keep carrying it. If it worked once, it'll work forever, right? Right. But when we say like it's okay to change your mind, literally, it's okay to change your subconscious mind. It's okay to change your decision. It's okay to pivot. It's okay. And
Yes.
it's sometimes necessary. And gosh, it's fun when you let yourself do it. It's really fun. We live in a time right now where you have everything at your fingertips if you wanted. If you wanted to go learn how to ride a unicycle and be in the circus, you could do that.
Exactly.
There's no police that are going to tell you to stop.
Exactly.
You can do whatever you want. You could learn how to make gelato.
Yeah.
Whatever sounds fun.
Right.
We get to experiment. We get to try things. I just think you're doing yourself a disservice if you want to do something and you don't because you're afraid that it might be the wrong decision. But my goodness, I'd so rather regret doing something than not doing something.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, and then that I feel like that does lead us to the subconscious mind because there are so many of those limiting beliefs and different things that are going on down there. So, I know that the subconscious mind is running so much of our lives. And I would just love for our audience to hear this from you specifically because I would love for you to speak on what is happening in the subconscious mind and why does it have so much more power over our lives than the conscious mind does?
Oh my God. Okay. First, before I get into how the subconscious mind works, I have to ask you a question. Now, I don't know, is this going to be video? Can people see me?
People will
Will
be
they
able to see. Yeah.
So you have a wooden K, I believe, on your the top shelf
Yes.
right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I show you something? Guys,
Please.
be patient. 1 second.
Okay.
On my shelf, on my bookshelf that you can't see,
Oh.
I have what looks to be the exact same wooden letter, but it's an L for Lynnsey. And yours is for your last name?
Yeah, mine is for Custis.
I saw that and I just started laughing. Like, I've never seen anybody have one of these silly little things, but I mean,
that's so funny.
Of course you do.
Of course.
Anyway, okay. So subconscious mind, back to the subject. I may have a deficit disorder. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Anyway, your subconscious works like this. If you could just imagine, we know that the mind and the brain are different. We already know that. So just go with it. Pretend your mind is a circle. Okay. It's a circle. When you're born, all babies are born with the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. That's it. Those are the only fears. Can you imagine if those were the only fears you had? Fear of loud noises and the fear of falling, and that is it. You also have, of course, the lizard brain or the primitive mind, which is the fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Add as many of those as you want, which is triggered by those fears. Everything else is open. That's it. That's it. That's all you're installed with. Those are factory settings. And then as you go along in your little life, toddling along, you absorb everything. So that's why they say kids are sponges, because it's actually true. They have nothing to discern fact from fiction. They have no way to do that. Right. So they start taking in things that they know. I like chocolate. I don't like broccoli. I love my birthday. I don't like getting in trouble. Very simple knowns, truths about themselves. And as you go along in life, from about 7 to 9, it's different per kid, obviously, but generally speaking, about age 9, you get what's called a critical filter or a critical mind, which now separates the conscious from the newly formed subconscious. Now, what is in that subconscious is everything that you've gathered up until that time. So I can walk, I can ride a bike, I can tie my shoes, I can do all of these things that you don't have to think about. And in the conscious mind now, you have logic, reasoning, decision-making skills, willpower, analytical skills. You have the discernment now. Not as much as an adult, but still it's something. The conscious mind, everything I just listed, is about 5 to 10% of your mind. Now, that is being very, very generous because every study I find is like, oh, it's 0.5%, it's 1%, it's 3%.
Wow. Yeah.
We don't know. It's small. Okay. It's a very small number.
Yeah.
Everything else in that subconscious, including, by the way, digestion, blinking, breathing, everything that keeps you alive, subconscious. So, of course, that's going to be the bigger part. It's about 90 to 95%. So when you have a goal, when you have a thought, when you have an inspired idea. Oh, I would love to make gelato. I want to make gelato for a living. I want to earn $100,000. I want a relationship that doesn't drain me. I want the perfect partner for me. I want, XYZ, whatever. It starts in the conscious. That inspiration begins in the conscious. Ding, ding, light bulb. It checks in with that critical mind, the critical filter we talked about, which is kind of like a bouncer in a club. That's what I like to say.
Yeah.
2005 babes, anyone? Standing in line. So you're outside. The guy's got a clipboard, right? This is the critical mind. If there's anything inside, you are the idea. Clipboard is your subconscious programming. If there's anything on that clipboard or in the subconscious that goes against that idea, like that's irresponsible. That's for other people to do. How dare you even try that? You tried it before and it didn't work, whatever. If there's anything that goes against it, it's going to kick it right back out. It's not getting in because you have 95% of your mind saying no. Okay. It's good luck. It's like if you use your willpower alone, it's not impossible. I'm not going to say it's never going to happen, but it's extremely hard. And that's why it feels hard. But if you have a hypnotherapist or if you have some sort of subconscious work, you can create a pathway through that critical mind, which is what I do with hypnosis. We create a porous pathway through the critical mind. We get in, we tip the bouncer, get into the club, and we start creating new knowns that reflect where you're going, who you actually want to be, who you are deep, deep down, and your progress forward. And watch reality bend around you. Because like attracts like, we already know this. If you want to see positives, you will see them. If you want to see negatives, you will see them. Yeah. This is how it works. And so if you can create a subconscious mind or train your subconscious mind to believe what you want is happening, it's going to happen. That's how it works. That's how it's worked your whole life. And this is what the important piece too. Like you're already doing it. You're already manifesting. You are 100% successful at manifesting exactly the life that you want based on what your subconscious believes you want. You've never failed. But what if you could decide what your subconscious knows about you? Knows is safe. Knows is, inevitable.
Right. So, I mean, this would be basically the blocks that we have, right? I mean, there are definitely blocks that women are just, I feel like I hear it so often. Women are so wanting to release those blocks. They feel like they're doing all the things. They feel like, I'm doing the affirmations, I'm manifesting, I'm journaling, I'm in all the personal development. I would just, and this is I think this is the exact verbiage that I hear is I feel like I'm pushing against a wall.
Yeah.
It's like this invisible wall that I just can't get past. What is actually going on for her? And what is she missing in that space? Is it because she might not be going deep enough? What is that about?
Well, if she hasn't tried any subconscious work, then probably it's just using conscious mind. It's using 5% against 95%.
Right.
It's just math, babe. Yeah. Once you can get your subconscious on board, like it feels easy. So here's what I would do. If that person walked into my office virtually, I guess, it was like, I don't know what's blocking me, but I feel like I'm pushing up against the wall. Here's the beauty. You don't have to know what it is because that's what the work is for. We get you to a state where you are receptive, relaxed, calm, safe, secure. Yeah. Ask, what is holding me back? Create an image of what's holding you back, and you will create an image of what's holding you back. And you will also create the solution. It's a beautiful, beautiful technique. It's called discovery block. It's very straightforward. Let's just go discover what the block is, guys. And we go into hypnosis. We discover what it is. We may talk to it. One of my favorite ways to discover about something is to ask it questions. Get its side of the story. What are you doing here? You want to know why it's there every single time? Oh, wait a second. You asked me to be here. I'm confused. I thought I was saving you from something. That's 99% of the time the client will say, oh, I did this. Like, oh, I put it here because I was afraid of what would happen if it wasn't here, or I was afraid of the possibilities or the unknown or whatever. An unknown is just as dangerous, quote, to your subconscious as a known threat. So of course it feels scary, but it doesn't mean it's a no. It doesn't mean it's a bad idea. And I talk a lot about expansive versus contracting fears, right? So a contracting fear is something like touching a hot stove or being up really, really high and looking down. Okay. That's a contracting fear. There is danger here. There's actual danger to my life here, and I don't like it. And then there's an expansive fear, which would be like, I'm about to become a mother. I'm about to move across the country. I'm about to get married. I'm about to start a new job. What? Like that is an expansive fear. It's something that you know is good, but it's unknown and it's scary. You know, it's just it, and we all know that difference. And you may not at first, and that's okay. I think as a society, especially women, we are becoming more okay and feeling safer to recalibrate inward. Okay. I'm trying to it's hard. The words are hard right now because I feel like I'm starting to channel and that sometimes my words get jumbled. But I feel like as a collective, women are becoming safer, feeling safer to actually dive back into themselves, because you're right. You said it I think at the top of the episode, we've been so conditioned and trained to look outside of ourselves and to not listen to our intuition, where now it's like, who am I going to listen to then if it's not me? Y'all are failing me 7 days out of the week. You're failing me 24/7. What am I looking to you for anymore? What are you going to provide for me? Nothing. I bet I know. I bet I can find it. Or, you know, even if you need to reach upward and go to source, go to your guides, go to whatever you connect with, your higher wisdom. That's what my husband isn't super spiritual, but he always connects with his own higher wisdom. And that's perfect. Whatever it is, that is still a part of you. Yeah. Because you always be knowing. You always know. And it's just so funny. Like and I'm the same way. Like I want someone to just tell me. Of course. You just want someone to tell you the answer.
It feels so much easier to just go, just tell me.
Just tell me. Where's the guidebook? Give me the guidebook. But you know, at the same time, I was sitting with my dowsing rods. Do you know dowsing rods? Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I was sitting with my dowsing rods. I'm trying to get back into them because it's been a really long time and I'm not super proficient, but I want to be. So I was sitting with my dowsing rods and I went completely blank with questions because I was like, I already know that answer. I already know that answer. I can't ask this because I know. And it's like, it was such a good moment for me. Maybe that's what that session was supposed to be about, because I needed that reminder. Like, I already know. What are you going to tell me that I don't know? And sometimes there are questions. And sometimes you already know. And that's a good thing. Most of the time, I would say. So to distill this back to hypnotherapy again, what I help you do is see the answers that you already have. See the answers to the questions that you have that are already in you, so that when you leave my services, you know how to do this.
Right. Well, and I love it because one of the questions that I was thinking about for you was talking about awakening intuition, because you talk about that. And I love the word awakening because that is what it implies, is that it is already there.
Yeah. So I like awakening, and I always like reconnecting. Like, let's reactivate, reconnect, because it's always talking to you. It's just, you know.
Right. So why do you think that so many women feel disconnected from their intuition?
Oh my God.
And yeah.
I don't want girl, you're going to get me canceled if I answer this question. Why are we disconnected? I think everybody knows what I'm going to say. We've been trained to be disconnected because we grew up in a patriarchal society where we were taught that women were less than, can't even have rights as a regular human being. I'm about to get pissed off if you want me to answer this. But it's true. When you grow up thinking, hearing, even saying things like, oh, you throw like a girl. Oh, you cry like a girl with a skin knee. You know, all the things you can't, where are we going to come up with the idea that we already have the answers, that we are literally portals from spirit to earth? Okay. Like, we will never come up with that on our own, because we've only ever been told the opposite. And not just women, mostly women, definitely women, absolutely most severely women, but humans in general. Women specifically, wear this, buy this, shave that, wear your hair like this, dye your hair, change your skin color, change your eye color, change your teeth, oh my gosh. Wear these shoes. No, those make you look skinny. Those make you look fat. Like, oh my God, it's all over the place. We're never good enough. Why would we ever think we're good enough? We're not going to just come up with that. except
Right?
we are. And we
Yeah.
did. And we're remembering now, and it's a beautiful thing. But it took thousands of years and it's
Yeah.
not done yet. It's like,
Yeah.
it
No,
is.
I feel this so strongly, and it is such a different uh gosh, it almost like I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you and I'm going, it makes me a little emotional.
Yeah.
Um
I'm getting all
and
sweaty now. Geez.
right, sorry that I made you go
All
there, but
passionate.
it was actually one of those things that I didn't know exactly what your answer was going to be with that, and I feel like you can talk to different women and you can hear different things, but
Hmm.
what I am recognizing most recently is that there is exactly what you just said. There is a remembering happening right now.
Yeah.
And it feels really big, at least in my world. It feels really big because I did grow up in the church. I wouldn't say, I guess it's all relative. I mean, there are some people that are like, oh no, we were like super religious. I definitely
Hmm.
feel like I was religious. I know I went through my um different curiosity phases where something I remember being like, I don't know, probably 21, and something just felt off. And I was like, I want to explore. I want to kind of hop out of this. This isn't feeling like this is where I'm supposed to be. I grew up in the Lutheran church, very close to Catholicism, all of that. So we had the rituals, we had the things that we had to do, very, very much patriarchal. And
Yeah.
so I explored, and it was interesting because when I explored, I actually, I, I'm trying to think of the words to say. It actually kind of scared me a little bit
Hmm.
because I was like, "Ooh, this is like way too much out
Yeah.
here that
Yep.
I'm not comfortable with this at all." So anyways, here I am at 52, and I am definitely feeling some major shifts, and my life is definitely very different. I still have, I mean, I'm going to say up until 6 months ago, the word source used to freak me out. When people would say
Interesting.
source, I would be like, oh gosh, I think that's bad. Like, I don't know if that's good, I mean, really, and like, this is my honest, just because again, it's all of what I
Yeah.
learned growing up. It was
Yes.
all of the things that were part of my, childhood, were part of even my adulthood, what I was even teaching my own children. My daughter had said, to me, I always say my daughter is like my little spiritual fairy that just hops around, my little hippy dippy girl who's 24. And I just freaking love her spirit. And I know that she's here for me to understand all of this. And I know even when I speak like that, some of my people think I'm literally crazy. But
No, you are speaking, girl, you speaking my language right now. Tell you what.
yeah. So but I remember she told me last summer, I'll never forget, she's getting her master's right now in psychology, but of course, even that she's feeling too contained, and she's like, I want to do wellness therapy, I want to do music therapy and light therapy, and I want to do all these modalities. And I'm like, okay. I'm just like letting her do her thing, because before, again, my mind was very linear. You've got to do this, you've got to
Yep.
get your license, all the things. Well, anyways, last summer, she tells me, she lives in the San Diego area. So she had said, I'm interviewing for a job, and there's crystals and there's this and there's that. And I immediately, like, my whole body was like, wait, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you should be doing
Hmm.
this, sweetie. I don't know like what that's going to open up for you. Like, but then it also went to me getting curious and going, why am I freaking out about this?
Oh,
And then it became, oh, I'm afraid of the judgment. I'm afraid of what people are going to think of us. I'm afraid, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I went into a whole spiral, and I had to completely back off from it because she was questioning me, going, Mom, let's really think
Hmm.
about this right now. Is this about you or is this about me? What is this really about? So
Psychologist.
it's such right. So it is such an interesting space right now because even my audience, I, we the majority of our audience in our data is like 35 to 55. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely kind of in that range. And we have all different backgrounds. We have women that are very religious, that are, Christian women. We have women that are, kind of getting more into the spiritual side of things. And most recently, looking at our data, we have been seeing a lot more women that are coming into our world that are getting curious and asking
Mm-hmm.
questions. And I feel like it's kind of what is happening here. So when you talk about the intuition, because like I want to make this go for full circle back into the intuition, I have really started to learn to tap into that more and to trust it more.
Yeah.
Because I was so afraid to do that because so many things that have been happening in my life now, I was like, I already knew this a long time ago, but
Yep.
I didn't trust it then. I was too afraid to trust it then. And now I'm getting bolder in being able to stand in my truth and go, no, I'm going to trust this.
Yes.
So it's been a wild ride. And I know for some people it's freaks people out. I mean, my family's divided. I have some of my family that are very open and yes, yes, you're speaking my language. This is how I've been feeling. And then I've got other family members that are absolutely not there at all.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I get it. And I love all of them. So we're just here for it. But I'm curious because one of the things that I remember hearing with you is soul alignment.
Yeah.
So what does that actually mean to you? Because how does a woman know when she's out of alignment versus when she is in it? I feel like that kind of brings us to that conversation.
I want to be so sassy and be like, you know what it feels like. But I think it's just and it's so funny. Like I will help you test your intuition all the time. Like in sessions, I'm
Mm,
like, but what do you think? But how do you feel about this? Um, what does your intuition say? Here's but to be nice and to be
yes.
you know, for those that actually don't
Okay, because
know.
I really do
Yeah.
believe that there are some still struggling with that a
You
little.
know, but you don't know that you know. How about that?
Yes, yes,
The
exactly.
feeling is okay. It's a visual for me. I'm a very visual person. And so I get a lot of like visuals when I'm trying to explain something. And so sometimes the metaphor is all I can come up with. But it's like you're a train that is just off the track. So you're still going in the direction, but you don't feel stable. You don't feel sturdy. Your foundation isn't there. You feel maybe wibbly wobbly, floaty. You feel frustrated. You feel impatient. You feel like there is something missing, but you can't put your finger on what. You feel out of it, but you don't have the answers. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to have the answer. You just have to know you don't like it. That's
Mhm.
it. You just have to know you
Love
don't
that.
like it. And then we can go from there and we
Yeah.
can figure it out.
I love that because just to be able, sometimes it's just the simplicity of that. Just
Yeah.
to understand, like, okay, no, I'm uncomfortable in that. I don't like this. And knowing that that means you're probably out of alignment then.
Yeah.
I love that.
And
Okay.
also no one feels good all the time. Please
Right.
know,
Yes. Thank you for
okay?
clarifying
I
that.
have
Yes.
to say this every time because if I heard myself saying this on a podcast and I didn't hear that person say they don't feel good all the time, I'd be like, well, who the heck are you? Like, I have crappy days. Okay. I have days where
Right.
I'm like, I'm not doing anything today except eating and watching PBS. I am not okay. I don't feel good. I'm pissed off. The universe hasn't delivered my gift yet. It hasn't delivered my order. Okay. And I'm mad.
Yeah.
And we're allowed to be because we can't. I'm going to say something. And now that I know you have a religious audience, I'm going to try to be as middle of the road as possible. But hopefully, y'all know what I'm trying to say. I definitely believe that we all, as souls, came here to feel it all. We came here to experience the hard days. We came here to experience the nice
Yeah.
things, the people that cut us off on the freeway, and the people that maybe are really toxic in our lives. We came here to see Mr. Rogers, okay? We came
Yeah.
here to see the disaster and the helpers
Uh-huh.
and the community and the unity and the destruction. We just did. And I'm not sorry. about it, because if I'm trying to,
It's okay.
it's not like I want to justify why I'm saying this, but
Yeah.
I feel like I need to come from a place of like, I had capital T trauma, capital A abuse, and it took a long time for me to sit here and say like my soul knew enough to have it happen anyway, because it knew what it meant at the end of it. I don't think I would be here if I didn't have the ability to put myself in other people's shoes and to empathize with them and to be the actual exactly the person that I am right now. And without any of that stuff, I don't know who that person is that didn't go through that. And so I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah.
And if
And
you're not
maybe
there,
perhaps we chose that.
maybe, well, here's the thing. If you believe that your soul knows, then you don't have to, but the next step would be to believe that your soul chose it. And if your soul chose it and your soul knows better than you, tiny human with human brain, I mean, what are you arguing with? I just think it's, you kind of have to, and I always say this too. You can't know what you don't know, right? You can't be responsible. You can't feel bad. You can't feel guilt, shame for anything you didn't know. But now, today, that you know you have a say in what your subconscious believes, you have a say in where your life goes from here, you kind of have a responsibility. Like, what are you going to do about it? Now that you have this superpower and you know you have this superpower, are you satisfied with your life? And if you're not, what are you going to do about it? You don't have to decide anything right now. You don't have to decide tomorrow. You could take a week, a month, a year, 10 years, but you know it, and you can't go back to not knowing it. You can't go back to being powerless from here.
Well, that's the thing. I say, I can't unsee
Yeah.
what I have been seeing,
Yes.
especially most recently. And that's where, this is where we can kind of take it home to before I ask you, because I do want to ask you about your app and all that fun stuff. But I have to ask you about manifesting your highest timeline, because I feel like, again, this kind of leads right back into this. I literally just did a whole episode on having a quantum leap, and I know my audience has literally been all up in my DMs, and
we just to be clear, like, we are all timeline jumping, right? Like, that's happening for all of us, right? Okay, because
I was like, and this is where I'm going. This is not just, this is not just me having an experience.
everyone I talk to, everyone.
Yes, it is quite extraordinary when you are really paying attention to that.
Yep.
And so I would love to hear, again, I'd love to hear in your words, because I've explained it, my experience that I had and what has happened since then. But I would love to hear in your words, through your lens, what does stepping into your highest timeline actually mean? Or, what does it mean to step into a higher timeline?
Well, it means something different for everybody. And here's what I will say about highest timelines. Again, you don't have to know what that looks like. The other day on the new moon, I just did set intentions, and I was like, put me in my highest timeline. Here we go. I am ready. Anything that doesn't fit my highest timeline, let it fall away. Yeah. Highest timeline, here we go. Boom. That's all you really have to do. Just set the intention. Highest timeline. There's this really cool thing. I found it on TikTok, and I kind of practiced it, and it is interesting, and it actually is something that a lot of people forget about, which is, the practice was, every day that you wake up, just say, I am now in my highest timeline. From this time I open my eyes, I'm in my highest timeline. The thing is, when you do that, you may have can I swear on this? I've been swearing, but I want to make sure it's okay. You may have the shittiest day you've ever had. You might get into fights with people. You might, lose something that you really liked. You might have problems at work. You might have problems getting to work with your car. Not always, but if you do, try really, really, really hard to see that as a good thing, because if you declare you're in your highest timeline, you're going to see all the things that don't fit your highest timeline. They're going to be very loud. And so, and I say the same thing when people start this work with me. Like, I try not to give spoilers. I try not to say, careful, this might happen, because I don't want it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't want to warn them and then have it happen. So sometimes I'll mention it, sometimes I won't. It depends on the person. But when you step into a higher vibration, when you reach the next level, you're going to see all the things that can't come with you, or that don't want to come with you, or are not willing to come with you. And that can be very hard. So I would say, if any sort of timeline jump, any sort of like next level work, subconscious work, alignment work, you have to acknowledge that it may happen, it may not. You might already be aligned with everyone and everything that is of your highest timeline. But if you're not, please be aware that they will make themselves known to you. And you have to kind of be okay with letting that stuff fall away that doesn't fit where you're going, the next version of you. And it's going to be okay. It always is, because it wouldn't be your highest timeline if it wasn't okay, right? Like,
right.
That's the whole point. But yeah, it's
sure.
the thing that people kind of like, oh, I'm just going to go and have all the good things that I want. Okay, well, there are some things you're tolerating right now that aren't going to be able to be tolerated over there. So just know that.
Yeah. And just know that, you know, for me, I know for me and many women that I have talked to that have, you know, felt like they're really able to, you know, articulate it, is there's some grief that comes with it. It's
Absolutely.
not all rainbows. They're definitely, when we are, you know, jumping timelines or spiraling up, whatever you want to use, whatever words you want to use around that, there are definitely things that will go away that are not, you know, aligned with what you're doing. And I know we use the word aligned, like, so, you know, we kind of pull that out there, but I always say in basic terms, you know, if there are things that are just not matching where you're at, even if you don't know it, like I love that you said it'll get loud. Like, there were people specifically that I had no idea would not be some of my best friends right now. You know, 5 years ago, that were my closest circle. They're, you know, they're still there. It's not, you know, it's not like there was a falling out or anything like that, but they definitely go away. And so there's a little bit of grief that comes with it. However, I do love that you said we wouldn't be in our highest timeline, you know, if everything was terrible. You know, so there are beautiful things. And like you said, I wouldn't have it any other way. I know that I'm experiencing exactly what I'm supposed to be experiencing. And I am open to that. I like what you said though, about setting that intention or waking up every day and just kind of, you know, being in that space. I think that's an interesting way to approach that.
I think everyone, that can be a good action step if you want to. You can just wake up before you get out of bed. Oh, this is the last thing I want to leave people with before we get into the next part. And I don't want to go because this is such a fun conversation, but this is also very important information. The first 30 minutes after you wake up and the last 30 minutes before you fall asleep, you don't even have to go to a hypnotherapist. Your subconscious is awake, receptive, ready to receive what you want to tell it. The magic 30-minute window right after you wake up, right before you go to bed. Okay. So what you're putting in your brain the first thing in the morning and the last thing at night is extremely, extremely, extremely important. So be careful with that. Put your phone down and maybe do some affirmations. Okay. Just saying.
So I always say affirmations, gratitude. This is like a great time. That is one of the biggest practices that I have. And that's why I say that it's a practice. It's not just, you know, yes, throughout the day, I'm always thinking about the things that I'm grateful for, but I'm talking about like a specific practice when I wake up and before I go to bed. That's exactly when I do it, is intentionally paying attention to even the smallest things that I'm grateful for, because it helps. That's what I feel like has helped me the most. That was kind of my very basic that I started with years ago, is starting with a gratitude practice. And oh my God.
Step one. Yeah. Like, if you can do nothing else, sit with your gratitude list. It is a great start. And you're not going to get anything you want without gratitude anyway. So you might as well.
Totally. Well, I do want to ask you about your Align Your Mind app, because, you know, I'd love for people to know a little bit more about it and how women can access inside of all things.
So for the longest time, it was only one-to-one client work that I did. It was just, you know, personalized clients. I didn't even do groups. It was just me and the other person on the other side of the screen, personalized help. And I love my client work so much, but I wanted it to be more accessible. So I've been thinking about doing an app for like 3 years before I actually pulled the trigger on it and did it. And I'm so glad that I did. This is an app for all of my best digital content. So pretty much every hypnotherapy you can think of, with more being added all the time. There are EFT sessions, is something else that I'm certified in.
Awesome.
There are card pulls. We do oracle and tarot card pulls sometimes. We do live events where we'll get together and do like a live theme event. So we've done new moon rituals. We've done past life regression sessions. We've done, I mean, you name it, meet your spirit guides, all that sort of thing. What else is in there? There's tons of stuff in there. It's a playground for your mind. Okay. You can sigh a deep sigh of relief, anything you want in here to get your mind on the same page as your conscious goals is in the app. And it's got a lot of free content, but if you want to get full access, then there's a paid monthly option as a member. It's just the best. I'm so proud of it. And I just want everybody to have access to their own mind programming and be able to have a say in what it's doing. So go dip your toes in. I like that you said that earlier, because that's what I tell people is like, just go dip your toes in. It's fine. The water's fine. You can see how it works for you and get all the good stuff for,
Yes.
you don't have to make an appointment.
Exactly. I love it. I'm all about that right now. I think that's kind of the era I'm in, is just like, try something new, try it out. It doesn't have to be permanent. You can try it, you can like it, you can not like it, you can change your mind.
You can change your mind. Yes. And some people will do the app for a while and then they'll decide, you know what, I really do kind of want one-on-one therapy or one-on-one hypnosis. And so then they'll pick up their computer and they'll fill out an application. And I take about 2 clients a month. It averages 2 to 3 clients a month. So if at any point you decide you want a personalized session or sessions, let me know. And I'm happy to work with you.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that will all be in our show notes. So I definitely want to let our audience know that. So you can make sure that you find her there. And of course on Instagram, all of the things. So we'll have all of that for you. But one of the things, Lynnsey, and I didn't tell you this before, I always mean to mention this before, but I promise it's not going to be anything
I'm
crazy.
ready for anything. Girl, I'm an Aries and Sagittarius rising.
Okay.
I'm ready for anything.
Okay, I'm a Sagittarius, so we love to just like go with it and have some fun. But we end every episode with our Spark and Spill segment. It's just a quick, no wrong answer, fun thing to get to know you just in a fun way.
Love it.
So it's just a few questions that we always like to play. But one of the things that we always love to know with our guests: what is your favorite morning beverage? What are you sipping?
Coffee, 100% of the time. Coffee.
How do you take it, by the way?
A teeny tiny little spoon of raw sugar and then like a splash of creamer.
Nice.
Oh, and I have collagen powder that I pop in there. 40.
I know, there's always my husband laughs because he just drinks it black and he only drinks it on the weekends because he swears that the caffeine affects him too much. And it's so funny because he's like, what's your concoction today? Because there's always all the fun things I'm mixing in with it. But
yes. Wait, there's one more ingredient in my coffee that I forgot to mention. I am in my highest timeline. I stir it right into the cup.
I love
or
it.
any intention. I'm so excited to see how good today's going to be, and stir that into the cup. I promise you, stirring your intentions into your cup of morning beverage is magic, and it works, and it feels really, really good.
This is what I talk about this in something that we do in my world and some of the work that I do, but we talk about that of how it's like those little micro habits of things that you do while you're making your cup of coffee. Stirring in your intention is like such a beautiful thing, and it literally takes 30 seconds. And
it's so powerful.
Something so powerful. Yes, I love that. I love that. Okay, one non-negotiable in your daily routine that keeps you grounded.
One non-negotiable? Shoot. Well, I think probably for me would be lighting my sage and Palo Santo and actually like it literally grounding to the ground and, connecting with my guides for the day. And I usually will do it on work days, but some days I need to do it on the weekends anyway, just to like make myself feel good. That would probably be it. I need to either light sage or light a candle. I'm pointing over here because this is where I do all my morning stuff, and just connect upward, connect downward, be stable in myself, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay. And the last one is just completing the sentence. The most powerful thing a woman can do for herself is?
The most powerful thing a woman can do for herself? Find the answer to the first 2 questions that you asked me and stick with it. Find the thing that is the most empowering thing for you to do, the non-negotiable, and stick with it, because when you start making commitments and keeping commitments to yourself, you begin to remember how powerful you are and work on your mind. You have superpowers. Might as well unlock them. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I love this. This conversation was exactly what I knew it would be. I knew it was going to be eye-opening and just needed, expansive, all the things. So thank you for the work that you do. And thank you for bringing so much of it to our space today. And no matter where people are on the spectrum, I just feel like these are the things that we should be talking about. We should be allowed to talk about. We should be curious about whether you agree or don't agree. It's okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like the beautiful part of life is. And I just know that women are walking away with something. So I love that. So again, before we go, just remember that in the show notes, you are going to be able to find Lynnsey and check out the app that she has, connect with her work.
I'm so sorry.
No,
I
go
forgot to say, if you download the app through the link that you have,
okay.
you get 7 days for free with all access. So
Oh, you guys. So those of you that are interested, run
do
the
it.
clock and do it. Do it. Do it. All right. Well, perfect. And thank you again so much. As always, keep rising, keep shining, and know your best day is right here waiting for you. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, Lynnsey.
Bye.
Thanks for joining me here today. Your presence means the world to me. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider leaving a rating and review, and don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Head to the show notes and let's connect. Rise to Shine Co. is ready to support you in coaching, collaboration, life tips, or even a coffee chat. Until next time, keep shining, my friends.